There we go.
So, good morning, Leah.
Hello, how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
All good, thank you. Thank you for coming on. So this is
No worries.
episode 2 of the Diving Deep podcast, where I invite people on from the music industry, everybody from DJs, producers, vocalists like your good self, and promoters. And we have a bit of a chat about your journey, amongst other things. So I want to give you a bit of a short intro for those that don't know Leah. So Leah Rose is a London-based vocalist, originally from Lancashire. It's fair to say that 2021 has been quite a breakthrough year for you. Music's been supported by lots of Danny Howard on Radio 1. She's also had plays at iconic venues like Printworks, which is amazing. She's had a release on Solado's label SOLA, which reached number 2 in the Beatport charts. And to be honest with
number
you,
one.
number one.
Sorry.
Whoa, can't believe we got that wrong. Number 1 in the Beatport charts. And you've been smashing it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've loved it. I loved every minute of it. It's been great.
Yeah, you've literally, like, obviously people who come and listen to this, and they may already follow you, you've got a very unique voice. You've got what I would class as like incredible power.
Thank you.
And that's like certainly for house music. Like I always think about house music vocalists. I always think like you want them to have an attitude. You want the vocals to have a bit of power, bit of attitude about them, and you've certainly got that, and that is amazing. I want to go back to, like, where did it all start for you, as a starting point?
So in terms of like vocally, I've always been a singer from when I was like very young. Moved to London from Lancashire when I was 18. Went to a drama school there, and then after then I just sort of I came in contact with a producer from the house industry, from the tech house industry, and he just sort of reached out and said, like, I just need some vocals for a track. So I stayed up till 4 a.m. doing these vocals, and then the track ended up being signed by Moon Harbour. And then one day, like, I was at my brother's girlfriend's 18th, and then I just got a message saying, oh, your song's just been played at Printworks, and it was just like absolutely insane. So from then on I just had like loads of producers coming to me and saying, can you do this on my track, which is obviously amazing. It's like a dream come true, really. It is. The first time I came across you was your release with Devstar on Simma Black, and I was like, wow, to put it bluntly, I was like, fucking hell, like, whoa, like, what is this? Like, it blew me away. I was like, whoa, like, that's when I sort of like contacted you just to say, like, I really like what you're doing. It's really good. So so that's how you sort of entered the house music thing. I suppose I want to talk about sort of like music in general. So like before house music became of an interest to you or anything like that, what was like your early musical influences? So when I was growing up, I was very much like into, Whitney Houston, Christina Aguilera, those type of like powerful vocalists. And then I would try and imitate them as much as I could in my bedroom. And I think, that's where that's where I started to get stronger. And then after then, where I was living, which is near Wigan at the time, there was a lot of bounce music. So that was where because there's a lot of old school vocalists in bounce music as well. A lot of remixes. So I think that's where I sort of then started to, hear all that, and then went to uni, met my partner, and then he introduced me to full on like 80s house, old school. And then that's when, it just like, wow, I love this. Pretty much.
So obviously your vibe music wise, I've only heard your sort of like house music stuff, to be honest with you, but how would you describe your music vibe just generally? What do you listen to? What do you because like most of us, I suspect it's probably not just house music all the time. Like, what's your sort of like style, your vibe of what you would listen to, what you're into?
Yeah, so I do listen to, you know, a lot of house music, a lot of old school, but as well I will listen to, you know, tech house, and I do really enjoy techno as well. Sometimes we'll go home and there's an event that we go to called Symposium, and they play a lot of house, tech house, techno, so there's a big group of us that, you know, go to that, which is really cool, because it's, for me, like, how it's more about, like, you know, it's like a community. It's not really, you know, it's like a feeling. You can't, house is a feeling, you can't describe it, you know.
It is.
So yeah, but you know, as well as that, I guess just like 80s, 90s pop as well. And I've listened to a lot of musical theatre in the past, you know, being from a musical theatre background as well. So yeah, a bit of everything, to be honest.
So like I was saying to the guest I had on last night, I'm probably sadly a little bit older than you. I'm 35. And
oh God, you
like,
not look 35. Oh wow.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But when I sort of like got into this, I took a few years out, but when I originally got into it, social media in that wasn't it, well, it wasn't a thing. Like it didn't even exist, to be honest with you. Like MySpace didn't roll around till about 2007. And basically it was like you were part of something that wasn't mainstream, that, you know, like some of my mates were into it but others weren't, you know. And like it was just like, it felt like really cool, and it was, because things now are so connected, you know, with the internet and social media, whereas then it wasn't. And you'd find out about these parties, and you'd just like have basic instructions or a flyer in a record shop, and you'd be like, oh, let's go, you know, let's. And the record shop was like, because it was all vinyl based then, it was like the hub of people in your town or your city, like getting to know each other, and like, oh, I'm DJing here and I'm doing this, and as like a young person, it was amazing. It was just it's different. It's a different scene now, like, in my opinion. But you know,
I could imagine
pros and cons. You know, it's like then it was a bit more exclusive. Now it's, well, how I would describe it is that the opportunities are so much more vast, but it's more saturated because of that. Because it's so much more like, I mean, apart from a MIDI keyboard, I can produce everything just on my laptop or my computer. Whereas then that wasn't an option. You needed hardware, you needed a lot more, and it was complicated. So yeah, like the scene, in my opinion, has changed. I don't quite know how I got in this direction, to be honest with you, talking about this, but yeah, I think like do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I know, I get what you mean there. Yeah, like I heard, because like from where I'm from, there used to be like people used to drive like up and down the motorway, and then when there was like a little flash or something, that's where you knew the rave, where the rave was. So I mean, I was never there for that, but yeah.
Well, that like in the very early days, like I'm talking like before my time of going out and raving. So I'm 35. I started going to when I in like the early 2000s. It already had a good like 10 plus years of like being big. But like in the early 90s and the late 80s and that, people used to like like you'd go to the record shop, and there'd be like basic instructions to find this rave, and you'd go to like, they'd send you to the next place. It's like, watch documentaries about it, and like you'd go to this phone box and the next bit of instructions would be there. And basically what you were looking for was, you were looking for a convoy of like boy racer cars, and you follow them, and chances are that's where they're going. And these raves would be like in a bloody, you know, in like a barn in the countryside. There'd be like 5,000 people there. Amazing, really.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah.
But
I wish I were around for those days.
Oh, me too. Like I've got some older DJ mates that I've known for a long time, and they tell me like about the really early days, and I'm so envious. I wish I would have been there, because at that point it was groundbreaking, you know, like what was happening in the UK, like, and in America, but like I don't know too much about that. But in the UK, like in the late 80s, like there was a bit of an uprising in the youth, and the rave scene came along with that. And yeah, amazing. So
it is amazing. Yeah.
So like in an ideal world, what's your sort of like dream of where you would love to take this, if you have one? I don't, you know.
Yeah, it's mad because like I thought about this question and like I just think, I don't know, like, because obviously like no dream is like too big, is it really? But I guess like the one thing that really stands out to me is, you know, headlining a festival, I guess. I'd love to do something like that. You know, I just feel like it's like, because I sang at like there was an event last year and it wasn't like a festival, so to say. It was more like it was an event at Symposium. It was one of those it was like an outdoor rave type of thing. And it was just unreal. Like everyone was there, like the sun was shining, like it was just like fantastic. So I just imagine that like you know, headlining, and I just think that would be amazing. Definitely, yeah.
Would you look to like move towards music full time, or is it just something that you want to keep as something that you do as per your day job and stuff like that?
Yeah, I guess it's like it's hard to say, isn't it? Because obviously I'd love to do music full time, 100%. But I guess it's, you know, at the moment we've just bought a house, so you know, it's times are hard at the moment in the music industry. So I guess, you know, just keep doing what I'm doing and see where it takes me. To be honest, I really love doing it. I love, you know, people contacting me and then work, like hearing what they're doing. And also like just supporting people like me as well, like because we're like sort of on this journey together. Like I really, like, for me, that's where I get like the thrill out of. So yeah,
like over the years you notice, and I think, well, touch wood, I hope this happens for you. Say for instance, like a few years ago when Low Stepper was sort of like coming up, he started working with some vocalists, and those vocalists weren't really well known. Like obviously you've got like the really old school vocalists that have been there almost right from the start, like Barbara Tucker, Julia McKnight, and they're like the icons in respect of, like, you know, there's more, but of house music vocalists. But there's like there's a new sort of like breed of vocalists that have come through in the last 6 or 7 years, and what you see is they start doing well, and then they work with bigger producers, and over time they then like they become like the go-to set of sort of like vocalists as such. Alex, what's her she's been on loads of big records. Alex, oh god, I can't remember her bloody name.
There's a few others like Rafaela.
I
think that's the name, and I like Jenny Voss as well. She's up and coming.
What's her bloody name? I can't she's one of my favourite vocalists as well. She's worked with like Ferric Dawn, Low Stepper. She's done loads of stuff with people, but it'll come to me. But yeah, you sort of see that they've all sort of grown, and hopefully I think that's what will happen with you.
I hope so. Fingers
crossed. It will. It definitely will, because you've got like such a powerful voice, such a good voice, that I'm sure like it's like everything. It's the same as a producer. In the end, it's just about exposure, isn't it? You know, it's, if you get exposure, then that attracts other people to what you're doing and stuff like that anyway. Yeah,
that's it, isn't it? I guess. I think it's exposure, and, you know, I guess like working with the right people who are, you know, I tend to like really enjoy working with people who are humble like me as well, you know, who are going to be there to support you. I think that's you know, key in this industry.
It's a funny old place. Just to let you know, that vocalist name is Alex Mills.
Oh, okay.
That's who it is. It's right, I just had to check it on Instagram because that would have annoyed me for the next half an hour. So it's the music industry, just like every industry. It has a lot of really good people. It has a lot of really shady people, and I've personally experienced this myself the hard way a few times, where people will promise you the earth but it isn't always the truth, and it's
Yeah.
just sad facts.
Yeah.
And that's where I think you have to get burnt a few times to realise, like, well, hang on a sec, like this, you know, you start to smell a rat early, and like I certainly have had 2 or 3 situations where I suppose I was just a bit naive. I was a bit green, and I trusted them a little bit too much, thinking that they probably had my best, you know, my best intentions in mind and stuff like that, and they didn't really.
Yeah. It's all about money for them, I guess, like some people, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I think over time it's about like sorting out those people that, you know, that, do you know what, this person is a good person, they're in it for the right reasons, they're not going to stuff me over. And I think that's a natural thing that happens anyway, because, well, unless you're like a real glutton for punishment, generally speaking, like you just cast the people off. That I've just actually had a situation where it was to do with marketing, actually. I won't mention any names, but this person said that I really trusted them, that they would do an amount of work for me, and I've paid, and they haven't. And it's like, yeah, and I'm like, I can't believe like people actually do this. But it's one of them, you know. I took a bit of a chance. I thought it was all good, and it wasn't. So
yeah,
you have to be careful. So a question that I didn't put in there that I wanted to ask you, because it just come to me this morning, is I know this is going to be a difficult one to pinpoint, but just tell me what
is it?
No, what you think. Give me like your top 3 or 5 favorite songs ever.
Okay.
Now, I know that's going to be a really hard one, so just tell me gut instinct, what comes to you.
Oh my God. Okay. I guess you put me on the spot here.
Doesn't have to be house music, it can be anything.
It probably will be house music though.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, I really like at the moment what Solado's doing.
Yeah.
Their song Power.
That's cool. Yeah.
I must admit, I took the vocals off and had a little sing to myself with that one.
Yeah.
And then the next one, I guess, would just be, you know, the typical Ride on Time, Black Box.
Yeah.
To be honest, I can't get close to that.
The Letter Holloway.
Yeah, but it's exactly. And then, you know, I like Enjoy Anthem. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
That's a wicked tune. Yeah. I've played that quite often, actually, because it's one that people don't expect.
No. Every time that comes on, I'm like, you know what, I love this song.
There's like I don't want to say cheesy, because that's wrong, because they were all very good tracks, but there's X amount of 90s dance tracks that get hammered. You know, like Robin S. Show Me Love, Living Joy Dreamer,
Yeah. I was gonna say those.
No. They get hammered. Another one that's become really popular that you hear a lot is that Gala, you know, Free From Desire.
Oh yeah.
That gets battered. But Enjoy Anthem is one that you never hear getting battered. So it's cool, the fact that you like that. So hopefully I haven't spoiled the next few, but you know.
Oh, and I guess the last one is it's called Hands Together, but it's by Discotron. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, I've not heard that.
I'm a big fan. You should like YouTube him, Instagram him. He does some real good mixes, like just disco-y remixes.
Yeah.
So, it's really good tune.
I'm assuming it's like disco based.
Yeah.
Given his name.
It's like really catchy, you know.
Okay, yeah. Like, it's interesting because disco house has become quite popular again. I remember in like the mid 2000s, you'd probably heard of Head Candy.
Do you know what? I haven't.
Wow. Okay. Right. So in like about 2004 to 2008, funky house became like really popular. Like there was this brand called Head Candy that like really popularized it, but it got to the stage where it basically become like pop music effectively, and it sort of faded out, and then it went away, and then Defected started this glitter box thing, and the disco house, the more like the more funky side of things, the more groovy side of things started to take off again. And I've got to say, like, it's really, I mean, I like some of it. I don't, it's not all to my taste, but I think it's a really cool movement. I really want to go to a Glitterbox night, actually.
There's one on, if you go, I think it's like New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. But my partner's taking me to one. I think it's in like, for my birthday weekend, which is in 6th of December, but I don't know if it's before that or after that. So yeah, we're going to get a hotel and then go to a Glitterbox night.
Have you been to one before?
No, I've never been to one. No.
Yeah, nor me, and I'd really like to go. Like my girlfriend, she loves all the drag queens and everything like that, so I know she'd be well into it.
Yeah, definitely.
We were going to Ibiza last year, but obviously the COVID situation happened, and our plan was to go to a Glitterbox night there. So I do want to get to one, I've got to say, because I think it's quite good.
Yeah, I mean, I've only heard like amazing stories about it, so yeah, I can't wait to be going for my birthday weekend.
No, you'll have a wicked time. Yeah. I know you probably can't say exactly, but can you give us a bit of a flavour for what you've got in the pipeline, maybe, without any names?
Yeah, so I've got obviously I can't say too much, unfortunately. But definitely won't be disappointed. I've got, a few I don't want to say like A-list artists, but those type of heads at the moment that I'm working on. That one of them reached out to me and was really like, it's always nice when you get someone like that who's like really, really sound. And then just been chatting back and forth. So yeah, just working on some vocals for that person at the moment. And just doing a few bits as well for some other people. Tech house. I've done a little bit of techno stuff as well. A little bit of vocals there, although I don't really tend to do a lot of techno because you can't really sing. I mean, you can sing, but it's a tricky one, isn't it?
It's not a big vocal genre, is it?
But very, lots of housey stuff, and even a few like little EDM stuff as well.
Really?
So a few people have reached out there. So got a lot on at the moment, but getting stuck in, and I'm on the half term now, so perfect timing, really.
Yeah, no, indeed. So this could be from a vocalist perspective, this could be just somebody who works in the music industry. Have you got any like top 3 tips of advice that you would offer people getting into it? Yeah,
I mean, obviously I only came into this in-house industry last year, and I think I've learned very quickly like a few lessons along the way. So I definitely think it's important to register yourself on PRS and PPL, just to make sure that your tunes are safe and that you're getting adequate recognition for that.
And for people that don't know what that is, if you could just give them a little bit of an explanation.
I mean, I'll try my best. I
know it is a bit confusing, but just a bit of a broad overview.
It's literally, from my understanding, it's you sort of register your tune on there, and then they sort of take care, like if it's being played somewhere, they'll sort of like make sure you're getting royalties and
That's
stuff,
right.
And then protect. It's like a copyright as well, like where they protect your tunes so nobody else can steal it or without your permission.
People that don't release music won't understand that actually, when you release a record, how you actually get the royalties for that record is actually quite complicated, isn't it? In respect of, it's not just like, well, I've done it, can you pay me some money? There's mechanical royalties. What we're talking about is called publishing. So live performances, radio plays, and these all have to be got through different places. And like people always say to me, like, oh, like how much do you earn through your music? And I'm like, well, it's so hard to know, because like you're always waiting for ages for the royalty check to come in, or you know, like I register my own tracks with a publishing house called Centric, and they obviously, but I've not received a royalty check from them because they only do it like once every 6 to 12 months. So like I don't know what's going to arrive.
You know what's going on,
yeah, I don't know. You know, it's definitely a one that when I first got into this, I just thought like, you know, you sign a track with a label and it just does this, and they just give you the money, and it's just not like that at all.
Literally what I thought. And then I got a really good manager, and then he sort of taught me through the hoops. I mean, to be honest, I still don't fully understand it now. Just sort of let him deal with that stuff.
That's probably best.
Yeah, definitely. But it's always nice, like, as well, this is going to be my second piece, like when you have someone that knows what they're talking about, because you do get people that, you know, try and sell you short a little bit there, and you know, they try and say, oh well, I'll only give you like this much royalties, and then you think, oh, like I'd love to be on a tune with them, but at the same time, like, you know, you've got to look out for yourself, and you can't sell yourself short. So yeah, they can find that balance for you.
I totally agree with that. And it's, I mean, I don't have a manager, so like for myself, I've had to really get underneath the skin of it all myself, and like I say, learned the hard way a couple of times, and like, for instance, now even like remixes, you know, if unless I really like the record, or there's actually a point in doing it, i.e. like, you know, end of the day, we all have to make some money, that I can make a bit of money out of it, and that just don't bother. I'm just like, unless it's somebody who I really think, like, you know what, doing this remix could be a positive for my career, or I really love the track, or they're going to pay me you know, at least a reasonable amount of money, what's the point?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, you know, I'm just doing it for, I might as well just make a track and put it out on my own record label.
Yeah.
Like, I'm basically just wasting my time. So you're absolutely right. Having somebody who can guide you through that, who has experience and knows what's what, it is a game changer, really.
Yeah. And as well, like, I guess, like, you know, sometimes you worry about, oh gosh, I feel a little bit cheeky asking for this, or you know, from the label, or I feel a little bit like I can't really, you know, ask that question. It's nice to have someone else like to sort of do it for you, so then it doesn't, you don't look like the cheeky one, so to say.
It is hard, you know, like from my perspective, not having a manager, I do all my negotiations and that myself, which I don't mind, you know, to be honest, because there's pros and cons to it. Like if you get a good manager, you're all good. I had a manager previously and it didn't work out, and it's like I always think to myself, like, the next time that it comes along, if it comes along, which hopefully it will at some point, I will absolutely be more careful, because if you get a good one, they can really help you. You know, they you know, like you say, it's when you're constantly having to deal with the, you know, certainly from a DJ's perspective, when people are saying, oh, would you like to come and play at this event? And you're like, yeah, but, you know, just to let you know, I don't play for free.
Exactly.
Like, like, you know, people think like you're just like some charity that you just mooch around and do a set for people. I'm like, well, no, there is a fee involved. They're like, oh yeah, but you know, we just pay everybody this, and I'm like, no, mate, I'm not interested in driving 60 miles, 70 miles for that. And so, if you've got somebody who can front that off for you, definitely helpful. So, number 3.
So number 3, I would say support your friends always. Like, I think, you know, when you're an up and coming person, it's just so important to like get stuck in there, meet people. Obviously now, I don't want to say COVID's ended, but you know, the restrictions have lifted, that we can just sort of get out there, meet people. And I think as well, like, you know, I've seen some people who, you know, they sort of get into the industry, they have like amazing feedback, but then they stop supporting their friends, and then unfortunately it doesn't always work out for them in the end. So I guess just always support people around you. And
I agree with that one, because it is a small place. it's like lots of industries, you know, you think it's such a vast thing, but because we're so connected with certainly social media and that, obviously you can get in touch with people relatively easy. Okay, if they're a really big artist, then it's harder. But I mean, generally speaking, you can just contact somebody, you know, you can just DM them. And I always think to myself, it really is important to make sure that you're respectful and, you know, you be a good person. And, you know, because I really think that people they don't forget about that. And if you have a good way about you in person and certainly in your messages, I mean, I get people, not now because I've just had to start my new Instagram account, but yeah, I used to get people who they're just like, the messages like, here's my new track, bro, let me know what you think. And I'm like, okay.
Oh God.
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't follow them.
No.
They may not even follow me. And they're like, yeah, I just want to know what you think. And I'm like, would you, if we like in person, if we were at like a party or something like that, would you just walk up to somebody and just be like, there's my USB, let me know what you think?
Yeah, like
and
no interest.
I'm like, mate, I'm like, respectfully, I'm like, I was thinking to myself, like, just like a bit of niceties. It doesn't take anything.
A bit of politeness at the start. That's the main thing. Like, stay humble.
I did this bootleg of a track called JD Dreams. It was like an old 90s track. It ended like Low Stepper loved it. He started playing it at loads of festivals and stuff like that. And I actually had an instance where the whole plan behind it was I had a single coming out on Simma Black, and I'd done the bootleg, and I thought, well, do you know what? Like, I'll give the bootleg away because in a day it's already getting played at festivals and stuff like that, so it's getting loads of exposure. So it's not like I need to push it out there to get people to play it. It's already happening. So what I was saying to people is, listen, like, you can have the bootleg, but I've got a brand new single out. Spend 99p, buy my single. You can have the bootleg. The bootleg's exclusive. It's good. You're gonna like it. It's gonna go down well in your sets. I actually had somebody, he was like, say to me, he was like, "Where's my bootleg?" And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Mate," I was like, "Firstly, you know, you've not even." He just direct messaged me saying, "Where's my bootleg?" And I was like, "Mate," I was like, "Listen, like, normally I would say, like, listen, I'll give you the bootleg." I was just like, "Mate, do one." I'm not. I was just like, learn some manners. You know, I mean, it's just. But we're in a day and age where it is people sad.
They just request your time, don't they? They just think because you're on your phone, like they have the right to your time. And it's like, you know, it doesn't work like that.
Because whatever way you look at it, the face-to-face communication between people is sort of like, it's almost become like a secondary to everybody contacting each other on the phone. I think like sometimes like people, their manners and their what they think is okay isn't quite what it was before, because actually in a lot of instances, if you acted like that to a complete stranger, they'd get quite offended. So I think it's just the direction that communication's gone in, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. I once had someone message me just randomly saying the tech house DJ has arrived, and then he sent me this like tech house track, which obviously, like, you know, it's quite funny. But I just think, oh God, you know,
it's a bit cringe, isn't it?
Yeah, like just like I think as well, like in this industry, like because we are on Instagram and stuff, it's hard to, like, you know, stay professional, I guess. But you know that, you know, we are professionals, and you know, we do need to be spoken to with a bit of professionalism, so to say. Yeah.
It's a funny old place, Instagram, I gotta say. But yeah. That's about all we've got, I gotta say. Really? And it's been ace speaking to you. But before we wrap it up, where can the listeners or whoever comes across this, where can they find you?
So on Instagram, I'm at, and then Leah Rose _UK. The same for Twitter as well. And then I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, and I think, yeah, that's everything. Oh, and Beatport, yeah.
Yes.
Obviously Beatport.
Yeah, guys, whoever comes across this, whoever listens to it, you've got to go and check this girl out, because if you're into strong house vocals or just strong vocalists, this girl is going to blow you away. So yeah, you need to go and check her out. So yeah, thank you for giving me a bit of your time.
No worries. Thank you for having me on.
I'm going to stop record, but hang on, because I'll have a chat to you afterwards. All right?
All right, nice one.
Wicked.